Hello and welcome to this episode of Simon Says, Let's Talk Business. I'm your host, Al Simon, and I'm with Sandler Training by Simon Inc., and this is Business RadioX. And on our show, Simon Says, Let's Talk Business, we talk with high-performing business professionals and smart people in order to sharpen our skills and learn new ideas and concepts, share best practices with each other, and get to know really, really fun people. And today we've got a really good one, so listen carefully, take some notes, and look for Beth's contact information toward the end of the segment so that you can engage with her. As always, we will conclude this show with a sales tip from WA in our Ask Al segment, so stay tuned for that as well. So, Beth Fleck, Senior Graduate Admissions, okay, let me get this right, Senior Graduate Admissions Counselor at Brenau University.
Yes.
Did I get it, Beth?
Yes, you did.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Good thing to have notes. Well, yeah, good to have you with us. Yeah, so, Bernal, I've known Bernal ever since I came to Atlanta in 1973, so y'all been around a while. Can you give us the thumbnail sketch of Bernal?
Yes, absolutely. Well, Bernau is innovative university, started in Gainesville in 1876, over a 144-year legacy. We have
pretty new, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a campus in Gainesville and then in Norcross, North Atlanta campus.
And that's where you're based?
Yes.
But the Executive Women's MBA is not necessarily based there, or it is based there?
Well, that's a very unique question because it is an online program designed to capulate women, successful women that are working full-time, and then they can complete this program in less than 2 years, 20 months, 5 semesters, and 10 courses. And
Wherever
they could be anywhere,
wherever.
It could be all over the globe and
Okay.
take the course online.
Less than 2 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
5 semesters. Awesome. So there's a lot of universities that have MBA programs. What's special about the Bernal Executive Women's MBA program? The
goal is to capture women, empower women, and create a program that will escalate them to the C-suite position. So they could be middle management right now, and they're at a standstill, and this will move them into that next level.
Okay.
So what's really unique about this position is that at Bernal, this is a program designed gender specific so that they can take this program and then it will move them into the next level.
So specifically for women, that's it, as the name would suggest.
Yes, absolutely.
So what kind of differences would that mean in the program itself if it's just for women?
It would be that they would get personal attention from the professors as well as small sizes.
Okay.
And then they would master the program. It's equipped to design and drive women who are currently successful. So
women have different issues in business, really, right? I mean, that's really what it is, right?
Right, absolutely. And what's really nice is that there's book deliveries included, their lodging, and also they are going to complete residencies in Atlanta, New York City, and then one international revenue.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely. So they do this on the weekends while they're working full time, and so they can complete the program.
Excellent. How long have y'all been offering this program?
This program is 3 years. We started in January of 2020. And so we're looking for 20 women to join our program. We're also looking for sponsorships, corporate sponsorships that offer tuition assistance.
Okay.
So it's really a great program for women to drive them. We also have thought leaders. What happens is when you enroll in this program, you're paired not only with the professor, but we have a speaker series, and you're partnered with that. You might meet that famous author, and you're actually going to be working and meeting CEOs, and so you can get into the advance, because everybody knows that the majority of corporations are run by men, so this escalates women to the next level to get into that C-suite position.
So I wanted to ask you about that because I've been hearing about the glass ceiling forever, and obviously I'm not a woman, so I have a hard time appreciating that. And but it's still there, huh? The glass ceiling is still there.
Absolutely. Believe it or not, just 8% of the companies are run by women.
8% of all companies have CEOs are women.
Yes.
Okay. How about in the C-suite or on the boards? Is it still that same way?
It's still that same way. So this would escalate them to get into those positions.
Interesting. We do sales training and coaching, and we've had clients over the years. And I remember one time many years ago, I'm looking around at the people that came for the training session, and it was all men. But today, it's a lot different. Today, in fact, it's not unusual for us to have just a group of, say, 30 people, and more of them are women than men these days. It's pretty amazing, actually.
It is,
yeah.
absolutely.
So that's good. That's a good sign, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Very good sign.
So you're looking for 20. Why 20?
Well, we offer personal attention, and we're starting our program next January 2023. So the goal is to have those women so that they can get that experience and network. You're meeting other CEO executives, and you're networking with different corporations.
So if you had more than 20, you would lose some of that personal touch, some of that really premier experience.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. So obviously then, if there's only 20 being accepted, the requirements must be pretty specific, right? Can you walk us through the requirements to get into the program?
Sure. You need an undergraduate degree, bachelor degree, and then work experience.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, because you'd be working in a corporation or business, and then you would be taking this program online anywhere and complete it so that you can move up to the next.
Okay. So if they came in without that kind of experience already, they wouldn't have an appreciation for what they can learn, need to learn, need to apply, and so on. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. Okay.
And we're looking for more than 22. Well, we can take more than 20. We can also offer an additional cohort class.
Okay.
That's just the minimum of 20.
Okay.
But
and if they miss the January of next year window, there'll be another window, I assume?
Absolutely. We have one in the spring.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Well, this is terrific. So when you look at these people who apply, and you're looking for the work experience and the undergraduate degree, obviously you're going to have some that aren't going to make it in, right? So what's the difference? How do you decide who's going to get in?
That's a great question. You would have an interview with the professor or the department chair, as well as meeting the requirements.
Okay.
Yes. And everything, you can go to www.bernal.edu to find out that information, or we also have our website, ewmba.bernal.edu.
Okay, I'm going to have you say that again. It's going to be on the website of the Business RadioX website, but can you give us that contact information again?
Sure. www.bernal.edu.
Okay.
Or www.ewmba.edu.com.
Okay. So bernal.edu or
ewmba.edu.
Excellent. Well, Beth, this is terrific. I'm sure there's many of our listeners who would really benefit from this. I assume that once they've gotten this executive MBA and graduated, and they've had that internship, or we call it a residency. Have you seen a track record of these women breaking through and going on to great things? Do you have some stories, anything like that you can share?
Absolutely. Our first cohort graduated this past December of 2021, and there's pictures on all their stories are on our website.
All right. Okay. That would be good to see.
Absolutely.
That would be really good to see. How about you? What's your background? How did you get here?
I graduated from Bernal many, many years ago, so my passion and joy is this university, and the professors are wonderful, the staff, the faculty.
Yeah.
So it's so nice to pass on the torch and see others, have that experience. And whether they're doing an online course or whether they're on ground, they experience that personal attention, and they experience the Bernal culture and the values.
Yes, I'm a little bit familiar with the Bernal culture. It's always been like the hidden gem in Metro Atlanta, and it really is in terms of schools where you really get a rich experience.
Dr. Clay, Dr. Julie Clay, she runs the program. She's the vice president of the executive program for this, so you can also contact her, and she can provide more information. Okay.
Probably, can you take calls or emails yourself and then pass it on? Okay,
yes.
That might be the easiest one. So
Sure.
Is your email bfleck1@bernal.edu?
Yes.
Okay, so bfleck, FLECK1 at Brenau.edu. If you want to learn more directly from Beth or get passed on to the director, or you can go to Bernal.edu and check out the program, including those case studies and stories. That's excellent. Beth, appreciate you being with us today. This is wonderful.
Thank you.
And I'll bet you're going to get a lot more than 20 applicants for this next one.
That would be great.
Yeah, that's really, really good. Excellent stuff. Okay, so this has been Simon Says Let's Talk Business on Business RadioX. I'm your host, Al Simon, and I'm owner and president of Sandler Training by Simon Inc. And we've been talking with Beth Fleck, the senior graduate admissions counselor at Brenau University for the Executive Women's MBA program. Great to have you with us.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's transition now to the Ask Al segment. As always, our listeners submit questions on sales or sales management for me to answer on the air. And if you'd like to submit a question on sales or sales management, then email it to me, al.simon@sandler.com, and you just might find that your question gets selected for me to answer it on the air. Today's question comes from someone who actually became a client, but the question is, what can I do to stop losing clients? And that's a great question. And there was a sub-note to it. They keep going to the competition. What can I do to stop losing clients because they keep going to the competition? You know, it's interesting. There's been lots of studies on this particular subject, and the findings are that most people do not switch to somebody else because of price or even because of perceived quality or service experience or anything like that. Most people switch providers or product providers or whatever because they don't feel appreciated. That's it. They don't feel appreciated. When you think about that, a lot of companies these days are going to a model in their sales department where they have inside salespeople, and COVID really accelerated that big time, of course. And so, you know, the old thing of the personal touch, you know, going to see someone at their office, meeting people at a coffee shop or at trade shows. I mean, all that personal touch it has really been diminished. And most of the inside sales departments do more with email than they do with phone. So if you think about that, it's pretty easy to understand why people would feel like they're not appreciated, especially when they have an issue and they call or email and they get the FAQ or the automated attendant, and it just exasperates the issue. So here's what I would suggest on how to stop losing clients. First of all, there was a reason why they became your client in the first place, and that reason is probably personal to them. And we call, in our vernacular, we call that pain. Everybody has pain. Nobody wants to admit they have pain, but everybody wants to get rid of their pain. So they're looking for someone to fix a problem or get them to a higher objective or in some way make their lives easier than it was. And so at some point in time, they selected you to do that, to fix the problem. And so what's really important for people to keep clients is to make sure that personal touch never, ever goes away. Even if you feel like, you know what, they're right, we're really not actually fixing their problem very well, have the conversation. Have the conversation. And there's a concept that we espouse. It's called CSER. And that stands for Chief Executive Semi-Annual Review. Okay, CSER, Chief Executive Semi-Annual Review. Don't get hung up on the chief executive part, and don't get hung up on the semi-annual review part, because it doesn't have to be twice a year. It can be once a quarter. It can be once a month. It can be whatever it needs to be for that client. And it doesn't have to be a CEO or a chief executive. It can be whoever the top decision maker is at your client organization. The point is you have these meetings, and they have to be in-person meetings. Now, they can be via Zoom or Teams or some way like that, maybe phone even, but they need to be one person talking frankly to another person, right? The provider talking to the client. And we suggest that they use an agenda for that meeting that we call RECON, RECON, which I'm going to explain what the acronym is, but it denotes reconnaissance. And reconnaissance means you're going out there to find out stuff. That's what that means. Or, what's the lay of the land here? And so if you're having a conversation with your clients continually and regularly, whether there are issues or no issues, whether they're happy or unhappy, the point is have these conversations to see what's going on and make sure that they understand the value that you're bringing and that you are working on their issues, helping them to succeed, or finding out where you're messing up. And so you both have to have tough skin, because sometimes when we have our Caesar meetings with our clients, sometimes the reason why things aren't going all that well is because they're not taking advantage of all that we offer. And so we need to communicate that to them in some nurturing but assertive way. And then the salesperson needs to have tough skin, because the client's probably going to tell them things that they really don't want to hear. But would you rather hear the bad news now so you could have a chance to fix it, or would you rather watch them go to the competition? And so we suggest that you have these regularly scheduled meetings with the top executives or the top decision makers at your client organizations, and ask them the tough questions and tell them the tough things that you see. And then when you conclude the meeting, you want to make sure that the next steps are clearly denoted as to who's going to do what by when. Because a lot of times what happens is you have a great meeting, but then the details, the follow-up stuff falls through the cracks because no one's really taking control of that. So really the bottom line is to have really frank, open discussions regularly with your clients, and you should lose fewer clients. And that's the sales tip for today. My name is Al Simon. This has been the Ask Al segment. And this is Simon Says Let's Talk Business on Business RadioX. And I'm Al Simon with Sandler Training by Simon Inc. And as always, good selling.